Yeah, how you doing? How you doing? I got another video I want to make today. Um, I just did another video, and I made a comment about my opinion about Manuel Charles being heavyweight champion of the world for the WBA Regular Championship. He won that belt 2 years ago, and he hasn't defended it since. He said he could have a small 1.5 year old child without making a title defense. People say, oh, but he's a paper champion. I hear that from a person in my comment in my last video. He's saying he's a paper champion. Okay, so if he's a paper champion in the heavyweight division for the WBA pension sanctioning fees, and he's supposed to be doing the mandatories for the WBA, so the super champion doesn't have to do mandatories and could pursue bigger purses and bigger paydays and unification fights. The WBC has actually made their own version of that now. Now they have a franchise champion and a regular champion. So the regular champion does the mandatories while the franchise champion looks for unification fights. As we see the WBC right now, the rankings are becoming more meaner and tougher for Deontay. They're real serious heavyweights, and he's dispatching them very easily. Like Luis Ortiz, I think he could have knocked out Luis Ortiz in 1 or 2 rounds, but he carried him for a couple of extra rounds and very easily knocked him out in 7 rounds. We also saw Dominic Breazeale, a huge heavyweight that's giving troubles to everybody. Won a whole bunch of rounds with Anthony Joshua for his first loss, and he knocked him out in 1 round. Okay, Bermane Sturm in the mandatory rematch knocked him out in 1 round. So that's why these guys are being elevated to super champion and franchise champion. That's the name on the WBC. So these guys could pursue bigger fights, and they don't have to be committed to the mandatories for the present time. And also we saw a unified champion in heavyweight division, AJ, Anthony Joshua. He's done mandatories, and the mandatories are slowing down his unification, and they've been up against subpar ranked fighters. They're basically B and C class fighters. That's why I hear a lot of people saying about Dillian White. Dillian White is a B and C class fighter that is highly ranked, and people don't want to fight him for mandatory. Deontay Wilder hasn't want to pursue that fight, and they don't want to give him a good payday. Eddie Hearn made him offer to fight AJ before the Jerome Miller fight, and before the Andy Ruiz fight, and he turned it down because the payday wasn't good. Eddie Hearn doesn't think he's a serious threat in the heavyweight division to give him a good payday against AJ. So and he's also not pursuing the belt that I'm going to talk about in this video, the WBA Regular Heavyweight Championship, which was designed for you to do mandatories, designed for you to be ranked, designed for, you're not going to make a heavyweight extravaganza payday, extravagant payday, but you're going to make you $1 or $2 million. Something like Deontay Wilder was doing before. He was making it $1 or $2 million per fight till he builds career. So it's something that you could build on, and you can move on to the super status. Okay, and I'm pretty sure if they work with a guy in Panama, they work with the WBA and say, look, I just want to fight for the WBA, and I don't want you to have a regular champion, and I want to do the mandatories and be a super champion, they will work with them. Like right now, Deontay's doing that with the WBC. He don't want to be considered franchise champ. He wants to do the mandatory, and the WBC is working with him because they're making money. He's being active. He's fighting 3 or 4 times a year, so he's being active. They're making the sanctioning fees. Look at Mahmoud Chow. What kind of sanctioning fees the WBA making with him? He hasn't defended the belt for 2 years. So if you become an active champion and you're paying your sanctioning fees, then your title doesn't get splintered. Okay, the WBA also created an interim championship because of Charles. We have a Trevor Bryan. Trevor Bryan's interim WBA champion now, and he's paying sanctioning fee for that belt. Why? Because they had to fraction the belt because the guy's not being active, and also he's not being active. So they had to fraction and create a gold champion. It's because these heavyweights are sitting on the belt and they're not doing nothing. And that same belt that Manuel Charles has in the lower division, Gervonta Davis is gonna fight for it right now. If there was a paper belt and Gervonta Davis was gonna be considered a paper champion, I don't think Floyd Mayweather will be endorsing that fight. Floyd Mayweather will be allowing him to fight for that belt. If that fight was considered a paper belt, like a lot of these people are calling it, and he's a paper champion, then Rene Alvarado would have fought Andre Cancio, who was regarded as the super champion. I mean, possibly the future super champion at that belt. And he dispatched him in 7 rounds. He tore him up, jumped at him. I mean, non-stop punching. And this is a guy that got knocked out by that same fighter. He's a long-term contender. Now he's a WBA. He just won his first world title, and he's being considered a world champion, not a paper champion. So this is a belt that's a world title. The WBA has explained why they did it. They gotta pay sanctioning fees. These are heavyweights that are sitting on the belt. They're taking the belt hostage, and they have to do something about it. The IBF rankings are horrible. Okay, they don't have a splinter title. They don't have an interim title, but their ranked fighters are horrible. I mean, that guy that Errol Spence knocked out 1 round in Dallas, Texas, he was the number one ranked fighter. And Errol Spence is undefeated. And Errol Spence knocked Ocampos. And he knocked him out in 1 round in front of everybody. So, either you have to have marketing sense like a Deontay Wilder, carry these mandatories for a couple of rounds, lose a couple of rounds to them, and then knock them out to be marketable. Something like what Muhammad Ali did back in the day, because he was so very highly qualified. Something like Joe Louis did in the Bum of the Month tour when he was heavyweight champ. Something that Deontay Wilder is doing now in his WBC, because the guys in the rankings are not that good. And these guys like Anthony Joshua, they don't want to unify. So you keeping yourself active, you're fighting guys, you're paying your sanctioning fees, everybody's eating, and you're keeping yourself fresh, no ring rust, and so forth. That's why I don't understand that the WC had to do the same thing, because guys like Gary Russell fighting once a year. Guys like Gamal Charlo, and Jamel. These guys are fighting subcast fighters. They're not pursuing unification bouts, and they're not being active enough. So if you guys want to have active the sanctioning bodies to have a one champion per division, then you guys are gonna have to be active, man. You guys gonna have to be active, and the fans have to pursue that. They have to want their fighters to be active. You know, they're gonna have to want their fighters to be active. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got guys in the game right now for a while. They're training referees and so forth. These sanctioning bodies are the ones paying the referees to be trained. They're the ones that they're doing the drug tests. They're pursuing drug tests. So, I mean, to call him a paper champion, I don't think. I think that's very insulting. I just would like to see Mahmoud Charles defend that belt, and if he goes out on his shield and gets knocked out, and let another guy like Brandy's got to win against him. Maurice Brandy's got to win against him. He's a dirty fighter. He just got split for his WBO cruiserweight champion. Why not go up to heavyweight and fight him? They said he has a win against Mahmoud Charles, right? So fight Mahmoud Charles in a rematch. And never know, he might just take that WBA heavyweight champ from Mahmoud. Mahmoud will make a little payday, make his 1 or 2 mil, and move on to bigger and better things. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video about in professional boxing here. commentating about this WBA thing. The WBA really has to justify why they have that belt, why the WBA has fractured their championship. If you're an active fighter, I'm pretty sure you could work with them and say, look, I want to do my mandatories and I want to be the super champion, and they'll do it. At one time, Keith Thurman had that belt, the same belt that Mahmoud Chow has, and the reason was because the super champion was Floyd, and Floyd was doing no mandatories, and I never heard any. Keith Thurman was asking for that fight, but I never heard nobody say nothing bad about Floyd. So I don't understand why they're making such an issue now. And Keith Thurman immediately got elevated to WBA Super Champion, and look what happened now. Manny Pacquiao had the same belt that Mahmoud Shah has, and defeated Keith Thurman by split decision and became a Super Champion. So you're paying sanctioning fees. You're a champion. They said the title has splintered. We're dealing with much more fighters, a bigger crop of fighters, bigger divisions, more active fighters. Every country has 10 to 20 fighters now. So they have to do that. They have to do that. So they have to purge and purify the ranks to create a real good fighter. And even with all that, you have a lot of politics in it, and fighters are still not fighting. Because look at Terrence Crawford, and in the 147-pound division, he's having trouble unifying with the other fighters. A guy like Errol Spence and him should have been fighting for unification a while back. But this is what we have to deal with as fans, and also as you got to look at their point as a professional fighter. So you guys have a great day, and you guys take care. Once again, this is professional boxing. Suleiman I. Oscar. Thank you.